morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice Radio, and today I am delighted because we get to have a little bit of a look at a Pokemon that's got my name in it. It's Eelektross. Although, fun fact, and it's one I've chucked out on this channel more than once, Starmie, over in France, is called Starross. How cool is that? But today, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Eelektross, and this could be an awful lot of fun indeed. But what does it do? Well, our translation comes from the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net, and starting off here, we've got 150 HP. Now, it is a stage 2. 150 HP isn't amazing, but it's fine, and it's alright, it's pretty beefy. The retreat cost of 3 makes me super sad because it's high but not quite high enough to use buff padding. It sucks as a retreat cost. The weakness to fighting is not ideal because there's stuff like non-GX Buzzwole, but also Pikachu and Zekrom's still great. People are going to be countering it with fighting types. Boo. Resistance to metal is quite good. It all depends on the numbers, but the resistance is nice anyway. But as I said with Tapu Koko earlier on today, anytime you're a lightning Pokemon at the moment, we are having a jolly old good time. Because you see, you've got Thunder Mountain, which reduces your attack cost. And you've got Electro Power, which means you can do that little bit of extra damage. There is love and support for lightning type Pokemon, and we love it. Here's the thing though, this has got a really nice ability. And according to Joe, it reads, once during your turn, if this card is in your hand and you have 4 or more lightning energy in play, put this card onto your bench and move as many lightning energy as you like onto this Pokemon. Cool. That's really cool. It's kind of like Tapu Koko GX, by which I mean it is literally Tapu Koko GX. Except there is one shining gigantic difference between Tapu Koko GX and Eelektross. Eelektross is supposed to be a stage 2. Yeah, that's pretty big. Now, to be fair, Tapu Koko also jumps straight into the active, whereas Eelektross goes down onto your bench. And also, Tapu Koko's got a GX attack, which Eelektross doesn't. But in terms of the general ability here, this is the same. But it's a stage 2. And there are so many good things about this. Weirdly enough, we saw a very similar ability to this very recently with the Greninja GX from the Detective Pikachu subset, which allowed you to play it down straight onto the bench as a stage 2. And you actually got to draw 3 cards when you did so. But you had to have 0 cards in hand, i.e. it had to be the last card in your hand, which made it kind of awkward. But anytime you can get a stage 2 on the bench without having to do the evolving and play rare candy and wait a turn and all that rubbish, this just becomes really, really good really, really quickly. And then you've got a stage 2, and it just turns into a really beefy basic attacker. And it changes my thought about the entire card. Because we'll get to the attack in a minute. The attack is fine. It's not amazing, it's fine. And I don't think I would play this as a stage 2 for the attack. Now, maybe in Expanded, where we've got the amazing electric that accelerates energy, it's Malamar for lightning Pokemon, which is so weird because when Malamar was released, I described it as electric for psychic Pokemon. Oh, how everything goes round in circles. And there, just playing Eelektross is 1 card on top, so there's no problem. The thing is, when you're playing a lightning deck, you're probably going to have 4 energy on the field, more on that in a moment. So you can just play this from your hand onto your bench, move any energy you want over, and you've got a really beefy basic attacker. 150 HP on a basic is huge. About the only thing that gets higher than that is like Solgaleo. But, the Prism Star. But it actually gets even better than that. Because let's say you're against something like a Vileplume. Now, I know by the time this comes out, Vileplume will have rotated, but bear with me, it's just an example. Vileplume blocks basic Pokemon. And in your average Lightning deck at the moment, you're probably playing Pikachu and Zekrom. And you're probably playing Zapdos. Essentially, you're playing a whole bunch of basic Pokemon. Well, here, it is to all intents and purposes a basic Pokemon. You're playing it straight from your hand onto the bench, you're not having to evolve it, etc. But it is still a stage 2, so it can still attack something like Vileplume. And because you're moving the energy straight over, it's not like you have to bench it and then try and get the energy on, giving your opponent time to target it and take it out. No! You're getting the energy straight over and you can take it down. And yes, you can see it does 130 and you can see Vileplume's got 140, but we've got Electro Power. Don't worry, I'm getting there. So you can play it straight from your hand onto your bench. It does a decent amount of damage, it's got huge HP, and it's pretty gosh darn durable, while also giving you options against stuff like Vileplume. Now, the last thing we need to mention about the ability is the fact that you need all of this energy on the field. But I don't think you should be terribly worried about it. You could always play Naganadel, gets you an extra energy on the field per turn, but you don't really need to. Because you got Tapu Koko Prism Star. You can put it in the Lost Zone and then all of a sudden you get 2 extra energy. Now, this is really important and really annoying. Because let's say you go second. You use Tapu Koko, 2 energy on the field. You attach for your turn, 3 energy on the field. Yeah, that's not enough. It's got to be 4. Now, if you go first, getting this rolling turn 2 before your opponent has attacked or evolved, absolutely viable. And if you can be sitting there with 150 HP Pokemon hitting decent damage right off the bat, and again, if you go first with Tapu Koko Prism Star, not that difficult to get this going turn 2. That is going to really put your opponent on the clock, and it only gives up 1 prize. And don't forget the Pikachu and Zekrom, when they attack, accelerate 3 energy onto the field. So if you've attacked with Pikachu and Zekrom, this is probably going to work. Now, I keep mentioning the attack. What does it actually do? For 4 energy, it does 130 damage. And during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon cannot retreat. That's kind of nice. Now, the stopping the retreating is really good, but the 130 is crucial. I talk all the time about the difference between 120 and 130, but it's absolutely huge. Because you got stuff like the non-GX Buzzwole, which has 130. Tapu Koko Prism Star, that has 130. Naganadel, that has 130. Doing that extra 10 means you get the KO. That is beautiful, and I love it. And then we get back to Electro Power. Because remember, that 130 with an Electro Power becomes 160. Oh, hey, to Dene GX. Fancy seeing you here. And then you add a Shrine of Punishment, and that goes up to 170. Or 2 Electro Power is 190. Or 2 Electro Power Shrine of Punishment is 200. You see where I'm going with this? You're in legitimate GX KOing territory. With 2 Electro Power, you're getting Blacephalon. You're getting Ultra Necrozma. You're getting a lot, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the thing is, you're probably not getting Tag Team GXs. Now, look, with 4 Electro Power and a Shrine of Punishment, you are up to 260 damage, which annoyingly still isn't enough for stuff like Reshiram and Charizard sitting there with 270. But 260 will take out a bunch of Tag Team GXs, but that's not really what you're here for. What you're here for is a 2-hit KO. And that's cool. I am down with that, ladies and gentlemen. But as I always say, if you cannot 1-hit KO, 2-hit KO with Disruption. So here, you're doing 130, and look, with an Electro Power or Shrine of Punishment, you're basically 2-hit KOing any of these Tag Team GXs you want to here. So all you need to do is just keep in the active for a turn. And then maybe they've got a switching card. And look, if they've got a switching card, they've got a switching card. Maybe it's something like a Reshiram where they can just play a Welder even though they're in the active and get enough to KO you. But you're getting a 2-hit KO, you're stopping your opponent retreating, and therefore you are restricting their options. This is really fun. I don't think it's a great attack on its own merits. But I think when you put it on a Pokemon that has 150 HP, and then you give that Pokemon the ability to get straight on the bench and move any energy over to it, probably not a coincidence that you need 4 energy in play to play it down, and then it takes 4 energy to attack. That's probably deliberate. And in that circumstance, yes, I am really in favour of this This seems pretty gosh darned awesome. So I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I love this. I think this is really, really cool. And if it was just a stage 2 without the nuts ability, I'd not be saying very nice things about it. But it is, so I am. I think this is a really nice tech to play in lightning decks where you want either a high HP basic or even just something that isn't actually a basic to give you options against stuff like Vileplume or whatever may come along in the future. So I'm giving it 4 wussies, and that might seem generous, and you might disagree with me. If only there was a place where you could register your disagreement. Oh wait, that's why there's a comment section. Go nuts, ladies and gentlemen. But be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk about games that don't have Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.